What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to take you through my full process on how I edit my podcast from start to finish. And so let's go through the resources that I use. So I have a virtual podcast and I use Riverside.fm to be able to record my podcast. And so I'll take you to the studio really quick. What this is it allows you to record high quality audio and video locally to your computer and be able to manipulate that later. So I'll turn on my FaceTime camera. Don't mind the things in the back, and I'm using my microphone. I can put that I am using headphones, and this helps with the noise cancellation and things like that. I go into the studio. All right, and so in the studio, this is myself here clearly, and then we'll have our guest. Our guest can get a link and they can come in, and so Riverside allows me to record our conversation and then have quality audio once again and quality video. And when this is all said and done, we can leave the studio. And then we'll go to our dashboard, and this is where we can view our recording. So I'll show you the ones I've recorded a ton of different things. So shout out to all the people who've spoken to me thus far. But today it's going to be Megan, right? And so with Megan, I wanted to point out to you really quick as well. Megan used her phone, so there's a few things that we will not have access to, such as the constant frame rate video, but we will have waveform, and we'll have an MP4 that we can work with. So you can download both of these things. Riverside also, like I've made other tutorials on Riverside. You can check those out. I'll put it in the description box or something like that. But either way, so I've already downloaded these things here, and I have it in Megan's folder. So we'll go to Megan M, and we have her raw video and audio right here, right? So with Riverside, I have that there. So now I can go over to Final Cut Pro, where I will be editing and putting all the other things that I put together. So I'm going to make a new event. I call it Megan M, because I've since talked to another Megan since then. All right, so I do 1080 1920 by 1080, and we press OK. So I'll go to Megan's folder, and we have an untitled project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this untitled project by just double clicking, and I'll put Megan's Angle. Right, so I'm going to be bringing in each clip and creating different angles. I'll explain that in a minute. So I have Megan's Angle. Let's go ahead and just make all of the projects for this event. We'll have Abby Angle, and then we're also going to make another project and say Abby and Megan Angle. All right, and I'll explain all of that to you all in one moment. So I have 3 angles. So now I have the media here, and I'm gonna go to Megan's project. Right, we have Megan's project. After I've double clicked it, I'm bringing in Megan's video right here. Okay, and then I'll go to my angle, and then I'm gonna bring in Abby's angle here. That's just so you know there's 2 different ones. So, but there's also something else special that we have to do here. In Megan's angle, since she is in portrait mode, I am now going to zoom in into a decent place that I can get her kind of like in the center, but not too close. And so that's okay for me. And now what I'm going to do, press Option and drag this up, and I'm going to take this layer back here. So you can see what I'm doing. I kind of want to fill all this up. So now I'm going to make this super big, and I'm going to grab some Gaussian blur, and I'm going to blur this out, right? So that now I have a full screen. I don't need the audio for this, so I just have this here. Okay, so let's check her audio levels.
Okay, my name is Megan. I am from Durham, North Carolina.
Okay, so we have that. It's I like things to be just over like the 6. Also, one of the things that we can utilize is we have her audio as well. So sometimes the audio with Riverside sounds a lot better when you use the MP3 instead of what is natively on the video. So let's test it out.
Okay, my name is Megan. I am from Durham, North Carolina.
So you can kind of go through and see which one you like better and kind of match that up. Everything should sync up pretty nicely, but you can just double check. So let's turn this down and let's see.
Okay, my name is Megan. I am from Durham.
Great, everything seems to be matching up. So now what we need to do is we need to make this into a compound clip. So I'm going to highlight all of this, and I'm going to press Option G and make it a compound clip from Megan's angle. Got it. So now Megan should be all good to go on that one. One of the things the compound clip does is allows me to have everything, all of her assets in one place without kind of ruining situations as I edit along. So this will always be the natural file. So let me just check that audio one more time. I want to have that up just a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a compressor on here, and a compressor kind of helps level out everything just natively, and it will bring up the levels in a way that is fitting for the whole video. So let's see. Okay, and then so if that's still too low, you can go to the parameters and we'll bump it up about 5 by 5. Okay, then that will bring our levels up. Okay, and you see that raised that there. Okay, great. So Megan's angle's done. We made a compound clip for it. Let's go to Abby, see how we sound over here, what we looking at.
Everybody, this is Abby here with Modern Day Unicorns, another episode. I almost said good morning because it's 7:06 a.m.
Okay, and Abby needs a little bit more. We're going to throw a compressor on her, but I'm also going to make myself a compound clip with that Option G. That's just a shortcut. Okay, so we have the Abby and Megan clip. Now, here is something that you need to make sure you take note of. When I go to the Abby and Megan angle, so we're not going to use the actual footage. We're going to use the compound clip, because if I manipulate the compound clip, it will manipulate in our final project, which is what we want. So I'm going to bring the Abby angle in, and I'm going to bring the Megan angle in. Uh-oh, there we go. We're going to bring the Megan angle in right here. Okay, so now let's see how this is matching up.
Okay, my name is
Great. And this is going to be my double angle, so I'm going to slide myself over, and I'm going to crop. What's this, the right? I'm going to crop the right so I can make that. We're going to share this screen right here, and I'm going to slide Megan over with that transform tool. Put her about right here. Maybe I'll make her just a little bit larger so we can be about the same. Great. Okay, and then we're just going to check that.
My name is Megan. I am from Durham, North Carolina. Stand up. That's the thing.
Great. So we're syncing up just fine. All right, and so now what we're going to do is we have our different angles, and once again, like I said, if I were to manipulate anything in my angle inside of my compound clip, it will automatically go to the final project, so I don't have to manipulate things over and over again. If I wanted to make a change on, let's say, my color or my sound, I can change the footage from inside the compound clip, and it would affect the entire project instead of me doing it layer by layer by layer. All right, so now we're going to make another project, and this is going to be the Megan full edit. Okay, same principles, 19 by 20, and then we have that. So now this is going to be where we actually edit the podcast. But once again, oh sorry, I forgot to make the Abby and Megan angle a compound clip. Option G, compound clip. So now we have 3 compound clips. Okay, we have the Abby and Megan compound clip, we have the Megan one, and we have the Abby one. Okay, so now we're going to go to the full project. We're going to highlight all this one, Megan, Abby, and Megan and Abby. All right, highlight them, right click, and then press new multicam clip, and I'll show you what that does. Megan multicam clip. Okay, and what this is going to do is create different angles that we can cut back and forth to, so we can create an engaging podcast. Okay, so now we have the multicam clip, and we can bring it into the full edit. We can bring it into the full edit. And so what we also want to do is press view and press angle. So now we can see our angles. We have 3 different angles. And so I'm going to change the audio here. I want the audio to come from the Megan and Abby one, so it's still there. So whenever we switch, if you had this one highlighted, that was every time you switch different scenes, it would change the audio and the scene. And if you have this clicked, it will just change the actual video scene and not the audio. So I want the audio to remain on the Abby and Megan, and then I just want to cut back and forth between the 2 just visual angles and not audio. Okay, so now let's create something here. All right, so this is where I do all of my additional editing. I can chop it up and do whatever I need to do if I need to make any edits. dealing with audio, dealing with color, I will do it on the actual clip that's within the compound clip. Okay, so let's take a listen here. So it's also very important that you learn your shortcuts. Okay, so I use shortcuts 1, 2, and 3 to kind of cut back and forth between everything. If I need to speed something up, I use L. Okay, just to make it faster. So we see here we started. Actually, I usually start the podcast with me, so I'm going to change the active angle to the Abby angle.
What's going on, everybody?
Okay, and so what you see, I start here with that level, so I'm going to press Option and the left bracket to cut off that top bit. Like I said, the shortcuts are going to be really important, and it's going to make the process so much faster.
Unicorns, another episode. I almost said good morning because it's 7:06 a.m. where I am.
Okay, so I have that there.
So you have to forgive my morning, but it's been my honor and my privilege to hop on the phone with another friend of mine. Her name is Megan. We went to house together at my episode.
Okay, so you see I changed the angle there when I mentioned her name. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through pretty much the entire podcast and cut back and forth for where I want everything to be most engaging. So it's either going to be her speaking or both of us kind of in camera, or myself whenever we make a point. So I'm going to go through all of that really quickly. So I'll speed through it so y'all don't have to deal with it, and I'll show you what I do after that. Alright, so I want to go in here. You see how she's kind of like off center? So I want to go into her clip, into the Megan clip, and I'm going to now adjust her angle because I want her to be center and not have all of this free space right here. So I'm going to crop the right. Nope, I'm going to crop the left. Okay, and then I'm going to recenter her kind of like in the middle. I'll bring her up some. Okay, maybe I can get a little bit more out of there because she's using an iPhone, so that's great. So now that I've edited this, we can check. We need to check the Megan and Abby angle because I would have manipulated her angle too. So you see that there? So we're going to go in here and just realign her. So we'll move her over here and move her down and possibly back her up just a little bit so she matches me just a little bit more. So now you see how that compound clip affects other clips. And we're going to go back to the full edit, and I like that a little bit more. So let's keep going. Alright, so what we've done here is I've gone through the footage and I have chopped up the different angles that I want. And then also what I've done is I've put little markers. So this is where I get the inspiration for the social media clips that I'm going to be utilizing. The purple ones are just like, oh, that was a nice thing to say. And red one was like, oh yeah, that was dope. I really want to highlight that a little bit more. So I'll go through. This is where I get the name for the podcast after I look at the theme again. And one of the things I really enjoy, especially with this particular podcast that I'm doing, is I get just more information. I get more charge. I get recharged from watching these things and listening to these conversations again. And this is why I love to present it to, you know, whomever wants to consume it. So after I do that, then I'm going to go and grab the logo for Modern Day Unicorns. Which is somewhere in here. I need to organize this just a little bit better, folks. Where you at? There we go. So I grab the logo, throw it on top of there, and then we're going to stretch that thing out for the whole thing. And I've just started to make it just like a small one. So I'll take it, resize it, make it pretty small, drag that thing, put it at the bottom. Okay, just big enough for people to know what they're watching. Then I'm gonna go grab a lower third that I like. Actually, what we'll do is my last episode was James. Okay, so I'm actually gonna go to another episode that I've edited, and I'm gonna take the lower thirds that we use. So this is James here, and I'm gonna highlight that, copy those, go back over to Megan and paste them here. Okay, so now I have my names that are on here, and I can manipulate that. So mine is fine. And then I'm going to change Megan's when she comes on. Which one? I started out with me. Okay, and I'm going to move these over to when we're both on screen. Alright, and I'm going to change this here to Megan. Okay, and change her Instagram name to just Megs 4Z's 1 2 3 4. Alright, so what I like to do once again is I have her name here, and I'm going to press option and slide that thing over about every maybe 10 minutes or so. I like their name to pop back up just in case people are watching this halfway through. I like them to know who is speaking, so I'll take that and just put it in a place where it kind of makes sense a little bit. And then so we have one at the 10-minute mark. We'll do it at the 20-minute mark. And then towards the end, I always have them give like the information, so I'll do like a half screen for that. So let's see. Okay, so she mentions her mini titles, so we're gonna go and grab the sidebar. Sidebar title, which one do I want to use today? She's in yellow, but don't like that one. See this one, I think I might like that one today. Zoom in. Alright, cool, I can rock with that. Okay. Instagram. Let's see what she says first.
I have many handles, right? So my personal page is just Meg.
Just Megs. At just Meg. 1 2 3 4. Okay, what else did she say?
And that's just Meg with 4 Z's, right? JUSTMEGZZZ, right? My massage therapy business is at My Muscles Matter.
At that. At My Muscles. MUSCLES. Matter. Spelling is important, folks. So,
and that is on Facebook and Instagram. My TikTok is just Meg.
Make sure.
As I stated before.
Tick to the talk. Just
clothing line. Meg, as I stated before. And my clothing line is My Muscles Fit on Instagram.
Go ahead, I'm gonna have all.
Okay, great. So now we have the logo, we have the names, we have her tags. Now I'm gonna add my music. My brother actually made the music. So let's go to audio. And where is it? Here it is. So this is the music I use to open and close my podcast. I usually have the opening music go until right after they introduce themselves. So I'll just cut this in the middle. Boom. Lower the volume. Fade it out. Test it out.
Unicorns, another episode. I almost said good morning because it's 7:06 a.m. We're
okay, what's she doing?
Okay. Let's get it right down. I'm a teenager.
Good. Okay, right until about right there. Then we'll fade that out. Now we'll take the back end, take it back here. This is so people can know we are coming to a close. I'll fade that thing out. Fade it in. Okay, so we know that the conversation is wrapping up there. Turn that thing down.
Thank you so much, Abby.
Okay, so now it's time to start exporting everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this full video. Start here, my end point by pressing I. My out point is right here by pressing O. Sometimes I drag it over a little bit, just I don't mind the blank media at the end. And so I'm going to export this as a video. I'm also going to export it as audio. So I'm going to go right up here and press export file. Alright, so that's the full one. I can rename it. I'm not going to rename it right now, but make sure I have web hosting, or else if it's video and audio, the file's going to be huge, 28.1 gigs, right? If you do that, you do video only, you have no sound, and it's still ginormous. So even if you do Apple devices, it gets a little bit smaller, but it's still pretty big, and you only have an Apple devices computer, still makes a pretty big file. And so I use web hosting. It's bigger than the other one, but I'm okay with that. We're gonna go for better quality, okay, and 1920 by 1080. All right, and then I will press next, and I'm gonna save it where it's supposed to go. I have an interesting organization system, but at least I know where everything is, right? So we'll make a new export folder, exports, okay, and that's where that will live. And then since it's already highlighted, I'll take that same piece of information after we stop doing whatever we're doing here, and I'm just going to export it again. But now I'm going to change the setting to audio. Hopefully y'all can hear me. See, my microphone's all the way back there. So audio only, which is very, very small, and then press next and save that thing on out.